Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Today, I'll be doing a requested video for a poetry reading session. Some of these poems I found while browsing Pinterest, and of course, before and after I recite them, I will say who the poet is and the title of the poem. Some of the other poems, though, I actually found from a website I follow, eckhartyoga.com. I've been following it for at least 6 years, if not longer now, practicing yoga at home. But there are two great meditation videos from a woman named Katie Appleton, and she likes to add poetry in her meditation. Both the poems she has not written herself, but they're great poems. So I'll be reading those as well. I'm going to switch over to my computer so I can read them off of there. So rather than seeing my face, I think I'll have some really lovely imagery to go along with the poetry go across the screen. And then when I'm done reading the poems, I'll come back here to say bye to you guys. Before I start going through the poetry, I forgot to mention that I'll also be reading poems that were suggested by all of you, my subscribers. I actually received more comments on my post than I expected, so I wasn't able to do every single poem that got posted, but I'm thinking I might do a part 2 in the near future. So if I didn't post the poem you recommended, or rather, if I don't read the poem you recommended, I'll hopefully get to it in the second video. Additionally, if there's any poems you'd like to hear in a potential part 2, do let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading the first poem is one of my favorites from that yoga site I mentioned. It's part of a meditation, actually. And then the last poem I'm reading is one from Pinterest. So 2 poems will be my 2 favorites, and the ones in between will be various ones you all suggested. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first poem, like I mentioned, is from the Eckhart Yoga site. It's part of a meditation by someone called Katie Appleton, but the poem is from an author called Donna Folds, and the title of the poem is Stardust. From a crowded firmament of constellations, a galaxy reaches out to stroke my cheek with a single spiral finger. One star speaks. Life is not a test. There is no key to find or door to open. Self-improvement is not the point. There is only awakening. And one day, we will all awaken to the rapture of the great love-making, when the heart of everything is revealed as you, when the myth of separation is burned to ash in the searing flame of truth. A lifetime of forgetfulness erased in an instant of remembering. The beloved enters, takes me in a whirl of tenderness and bliss, and in that moment, 2 are one, and 1 is everything. Stars and souls are whole, unbroken flowing motion. What is wrapped in skin or cloaked in form has no birth or death or destination. The star speaks to me again. The seeds of love sown in eternity ago are blooming now. There has always been divinity, and this This at last is who we are. Love. Love in endless consummation. Love, not limitation, is the truth. Then, with a rush of wind, like countless wings, I am left to sit still, with the taste of stardust, sweet, sweet, upon my lips. I hope you enjoyed that poem. The next one was recommended by a subscriber, and it's from William Shakespeare, from his play Macbeth, and it's one of Macbeth's soliloquies, or rather a soliloquy from Macbeth. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Okay, the next poem that I will read, again recommended by a subscriber, is by William Wordsworth, and it's called The Solitary Reaper. Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. No nightingale did ever chant more welcome notes to weary bands of travelers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling ne'er was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas. Among the farthest he breathes. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old unhappy far-off things and battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss, or pain that has been and may be again? Whate'er the theme the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending, I saw her singing at her work, and o'er the sickle bending. I listened motionless and still, as I mounted up the hill. The music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. The next poem I'll read was suggested again by a subscriber for an Edgar Allan Poe poem. I'll be reading Spirits of the Dead. Thy soul shall find itself alone, mid dark thoughts of the grey tombstone, not one of all the crowd to pry into thine hour of secrecy. Be silent in that solitude, for which is not loneliness, for then the spirits of the dead who stood in life before thee are again. In death around thee, and their will shall overshadow thee be still. The night though clear shall frown, and the stars shall not look down from their high thrones in the heaven with light like hopes to mortal given, but their red orbs without beam to thy weariness shall seem as a burning and a fever which could cling to thee forever. Now our thoughts thou shalt not banish, now our visions ne'er to vanish. From thy spirit shall they pass, no more like dewdrop from the grass. The breeze, the breath of God is still, and the mist upon the hill, shadowy, shadowy yet unbroken, is a symbol and a token. How it hangs upon the trees, a mystery of mysteries. Very spooky. The next poem I will read, again recommended by a subscriber, is called The Astronaut by Sarah Kay. I see the moon sees me. The moon sees somebody I don't see. God bless the moon and God bless me, and God bless the somebody that I don't see. If I get to heaven before you do, I'll make a hole and pull you through, and I'll write your name on every star, and that way the world won't seem so far. The astronaut will not be at work today. He is called in sick. He's turned off his cell phone, his pager, his laptop, his alarm clock. There's a fat yellow cat asleep on his couch, windows against his window pane, and not even a hint of coffee in the kitchen air. Everybody is in a tizzy. The engineers on the 15th floor have stopped working on the particle machine. The anti-gravity room is leaking, and even the freckled kid with glasses, whose only job is to take out the trash, is nervous, fumbles the bag, spills a banana peel and a paper cup. Nobody notices. They are too busy calculating how much this will mean for lost time. How many galaxies are we losing per second? And how long before the rocket can be launched? Somewhere, an electron flies off the energy cloud. A black hole has erupted. A mother finishes setting the table for dinner. A Law and Order marathon is starting. The astronaut is asleep. He has forgotten to turn off his watch, which ticks like a metal pulse against his wrist. He does not hear it. He dreams of coral reefs and plankton. His fingers find the pillowcases, sailing mask. He turns on his side, opens his eyes once. He thinks that scuba divers must have the most wonderful job in the world. So much water to glide through. Reading that poem, thinking about space, has reminded me of another poem I'd like to read that was featured heavily in one of my favorite movies, Interstellar. So this poem is by Dylan Thomas, and it is called Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. And if you've seen Interstellar, you'll know this poem. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know dark is right. Because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my Father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Our next poem was another one submitted by a subscriber. It's called Never Go Back by Felix Dennis. Never go back, never go back. Never return to the haunts of your youth. Keep to the track, to the beaten track. Memory holds all you need of the truth. Never look back, never look back. Never succumb to the Gorgon stare. Keep to the track, to the beaten track. No one is waiting and nothing is there. Never go back, never go back. Never surrender the future you've earned. Keep to the track, to the beaten track. Never return to the bridges you burned. Never look back, never look back. Never retreat to the glorious past. Keep to the track, to the beaten track. Treat every day of your life as your last. Never go back, never go back. Never acknowledge the ghost on the stair. Keep to the track, to the beaten track. No one is waiting and nothing is there. And now, this is one that I found on Pinterest that I liked. And the poet is W.H. Auden. And the title is Let the More Loving One Be Me. Looking up at the stars, I know quite well that for all they care, I can go to hell. But on earth indifference is the least we have to dread from man or beast. How should we like it were stars to burn with a passion for us we could not return? If equal affection cannot be, let the more loving one be me. Admirer as I think I am of stars that do not give a damn, I cannot now I see them say, I missed one terribly all day. Were all stars to disappear or die, I should learn to look at an empty sky and feel its total dark sublime, though this might take me a little time. There are actually 2 more poems that I'm adding in after I recorded the original part of this video. The first was submitted by a subscriber, and they actually wrote this poem themselves. So the poet is Cyrus Gold, and the name of the poem is Roshana. Puddles of exhausted days cleanse the earth, absent the promise of advent pain or joy. Greatness, humming its tune in a muted voice of desired power, masquerades as a lone lily eagerly awaiting growth. Once a maiden, born of love and wanderlust, though, pierced by an agonizing reality synthesized from doubt. Now royalty, paving her path to ascension on slanted land, keen on ensnaring her under its shared deprivation. Yet she beckons. Her demons unfathomably whisk away. Nightmares suffocate within her potent cocoon, and her bright soul illuminates the dawn that breaks. Alexander shamelessly bathes in its everlasting warmth, for dawn is absolute, thereby equal to her word. Consume it. And the second poem, which will be the actual last poem, is written by a poet named Martha Postlethwaite, or Postlethwaite. This was actually shared by a friend of mine. Here we go. Do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is your life falls into your own cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world, so worth of rescue. Well, I hope you all enjoyed those poems. I certainly am fond of quite a few, if not all of them. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I hope you enjoyed the poetry and that you found this relaxing. I will also have below the titles of the poem in the order I read them with the author or poet that wrote it, so you can look them up on your own. Okay, guys. Bye.